to make it independent, there are 2 or 3 things that we should be focusing on. First of all, finance. There is no institution that could work without finances. And we should ensure that the African Commission has autonomy in their finances. Because in the specific case, the finances of the African Commission comes from the African Union and is subjected to some decision of the AU leaders to, let's say, adopt their budget or not. And we have seen in cases where the African Commission presented their activity reports and they said that they couldn't work, or they couldn't more focus on their request to adopt their budget unless they go back and revise their activity report, removing some resolutions that they think for them is something that is jeopardizing the African culture, for instance. The second thing is the nomination itself of the commissioners. The process, to my perspective, is not quite transparent. There is no proper vetting mechanisms, whether at national level or at continental level. It's usually a nomination made, by the Minister of Foreign Affairs through a very opaque process that people are not aware. And I think it's opening up to have a comprehensive, transparent appointment of the commissioners could be something very good. And the third thing, to be independent, is our leaders, state parties to the Commission, should cooperate with the African Commission and accept implementing the decision of the African Commission, knowing that it's a mandate they have ratified, they are party to the African Charter, and they should implement decision of the African Commission. We have seen little interest from our governments, to go toward justice, achieving justice for their people on the continent. If my memory is still well, I think so far we have 9 states actually allowing their individuals to go and bring cases to the African court, which is quite sad for a continent that strives for justice, peace, and security. For a country that designed a framework of the African we want under Agenda 2063, it's quite sad for a continent that think, they would like to implement a plan of action, a human rights plan of action in terms of, protecting the welfare of their citizens and the dignity of their people. So I think they should be quite serious in ratifying, most important, protocols, not only ratifying, but, implementing and committing to implement, some of those decisions. So another recommendation, I must say, is the Commission itself should move to the people rather than the people coming to the Commission. I think there's a little work done in terms of promotion of the African human rights system. The elected people, let's say the people living in the cities, people who have access to internet and all of that, know very well about the African Commission because in one way or another we have been to school or something. But how about the people, the community, the grassroots? There is a huge majority of people who are not aware about those instruments. Now the question is, how can we move now those standards, which is high, to the people on the grassroots? It's really relevant. Maybe applying human rights-based approach through the Agenda 2063, and perhaps why not changing, the practical way of operation of the African Commission, then moving from their comfortable zone or comfort zone, out of, another terrain where they could find more, people in need and discuss and get more challenge.